Guys, it's time for happy hour. Coming to you live from my living room. It's over 100 degrees outside, so this guy came inside where there's air conditioning, but we're still going to have a great time. We're still going to drink some wine. And yes, Jeffrey, everybody needs to jump because it's time for the weekend. What is up, everybody? I'm so excited about this. I had to get a upbeat, energetic song. We got a fun episode planned for today. You guys know the drill. I want to know, where are you? What are you drinking? 3 stars if you're a first timer. We want to shout you out. Guys, we made it. Another week is July 10th. It's over. It's time for the weekend. In case you didn't know, I'm helping you keep track of those days of the week. I know some people are like, do they even matter anymore? Guys, it's the weekend. It matters. And we're marking it. We're going to put something in our glass. Cheers to all of you. Kate, I'm so glad you're actually at home to join today. Alta, cheers. Having some Timmons Mourvedre, just like me. We're going to talk about that today. This is my favorite of our Mourvedres for this time of year. Doesn't get better. I haven't had this in a little while, and I'm having it right now. This is really good, y'all. I might make it through. This might be the first time, that first episode, I make it through a whole bottle of wine in one episode. I'm not sorry about it. Let's check in with a few other folks. Eric and Asha having some Mary Ruth in San Antonio. What's up, Sarah? Also in San Antonio, having some WFC Mourvedre, Carignan Rosé. I love it. Yes, guys. Every once in a while, I'll kick off some Van Halen. I'm all about it. Kayla in Fort Worth having a peach milkshake. True story. I have currently, I'm not proud of it, or maybe I kind of am, 7 different flavors of ice cream in my fridge. So making a milkshake sounds really good. You know, I had to try out this. H-E-B's got this new all natural ingredients with cool flavors thing, and they were doing a coupon, and I was like, yes, I will take 7 different flavors and have 7 different pints of ice cream at the same time. So, you know, sometimes I have 1 spoonful of one flavor and then 1 spoonful of 6 other flavors. Who knows? I'm all about that ice cream right now, though, guys. You can't tell. Alan in Sugarland have a Maker's Whiskey Sling. Dig it. Guys, going a little hard getting into the weekend. Ready to do this. Terry having the Relief Red Blend. Guys, I missed that wine. I only got 2 bottles. And it's hard to find now. So live up that sin so. I'm loving it. All right. Van Halen, I know we still got a minute left. So, guys, let's all take another drink. Get something in your glass if you don't have it. Buckle up. We're kicking off the weekend right here on Happy Hour. Guys, this is I think I'm just going to start drinking from the bottle kind of day. Not because it's been a day necessarily, but because I'm excited for the weekend. And this wine is tasting real good. Don't judge me, guys. Well, you can if you want. I'm still going to drink wine from the bottle because it's so good. Man, it's good right now. Lane, Fredericksburg Hill Country. I'm glad you're enjoying the Mourvedre tasting or enjoyed it. 102 in Lubbock calls for an ice cold iced tea for Dottie. I love it. Okay, guys, the song's ending. That means it's time to get us kicked off. I am super, super stoked. We are going to have a William Chris team member join us. She is running a little bit behind. She was out at the vineyard today, so I will let her join for the wine nerd section. But first, it's time to talk about what I'm drinking in my glass. So let's talk about the William Chris wine of the day. Like I said, I am having the Timmons Estate Mourvedre from the Texas High Plains, 2017 vintage. For those of you who have been a part of a virtual tasting that included this wine, you know that we did this kind of in a roble style. And the reason we use the roble term, because in Spain, they use that to denote a lot less oak time than is typical. So in Spain, they love to oak their reds. Roble is used for wines that they only leave in for just a touch of oak. So we did a much lighter touch of oak on this. It actually fermented in oak fermenter. So if you've been to William Chris and you've seen our barrel room, we have those really giant oak containers in our upstairs kind of barrel room. So we did that. We fermented this wine in second use oak fermenter. Okay, second use meaning, each time you use it, there's less and less oak impact. And then we only aged it for 8 months in oak. And so it doesn't have an intense oakiness. Let's all take a drink. Happy hour, guys. It's the weekend. Okay, so here we're getting a very fruit driven wine. It's because we didn't put a ton of oak on this. It's also a lighter, fresher style of Mourvedre. I think the vines are a little bit younger. So you get this kind of like lively red fruit, tart, lively red fruit, red cherry. You know, I'd even go like red plum on this. I think this is like starting to get into wanting to go a little bit darker fruit. But now, I think one of the things that this wine carries that's unique to some of the Mourvedres is this almost like green herbal note. You know, in Rhone blends, they talk about it as garrigue. And it's kind of like the underbrush that grows really commonly around the vineyards there, things like rosemary and thyme and, you know, like dried green herbs. There's a little bit of that for me on the nose, but overwhelmingly, this is about tart red fruit, and it's so refreshing. It's got good acidity. It makes you salivate. Love this wine. So high acid. Guys, this is perfect for everything coming off the grill. I'm specifically going to talk about two that I think are going to be quality with this right now. One is grilled salmon. So if you want to get a little bit of fish on the grill, the second is grilled quail. Now, don't rule out like barbecue chicken wings. And honestly, you don't need a ton of like sauce and stuff on these. You're really just looking for like grilled chicken wings, like straight up salt and pepper. Go get it. That's gonna sing. That little bit of like char grill, like that little charcoal bit that you get, you know, the little burnt part that kind of like turns things black on your meat. Just a touch of that will really bring out the fruit in this wine, honestly. And you've got to put a chill. I mean, you probably saw my glass. It's got like, you can see all this condensation on the outside. That's because I put like a 45-minute to an hour chill on this red wine. It's so killer, especially with this hot. I mean, it's one of the reasons I'm inside today. It's like, I think the heat index said 111, and I was like, I will not put myself through that. You guys don't want me to be doing that outside. Like, this would be miserable for everybody. Okay, so that's what I had today. Get you some 17 Timmons Mourvedre. I don't know how much is left, honestly. So just, I mean, like, this is the freshest, lightest style of Mourvedre that we've done. So go take advantage. Guys, let's say hi to a few more folks before we jump into the wine nerd section. One of our good friends out at the William Chris of the William Chris team is joining us. Savannah, I'm gonna come to you in like 5 seconds. Hope you're ready, guys. Let's all say hi. Savannah, welcome to Happy Hour. Cheers, friend.
Wait, hold on. Da-da-da-da. Cheers and happy hour, guys.
Happy hour. Where are you and what are you drinking?
So I am drinking Mary Ruth. It is my favorite summer wine, and I am in Dripping Springs.
I love it. And remind me if I'm wrong, you just relocated. Like, Dripping Springs is new home for you, yeah?
Yes, it is a new home, and I've been here for about a month and a half, so still getting used to it.
I love it. Well, happy housewarming, since I haven't been able to tell you that.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about island wine. But before we do that, I'm going to pull you off just so you can take a breather for a sec. We have a first timer, so I want everybody to say hi to Eileen, I guess is how you pronounce that. I don't know if it's Aileen or Eileen. Guys, always love our first timers. Welcome to Happy Hour. We have a lot of fun here. We're really laid back. I play music. I make fun of myself. I drink wine straight from the bottle, especially on Fridays. So cheers, guys. And I don't want to shout out. I don't know if they're watching today, but I went out to the vineyard to work for a little while. And there were some folks picking up wine at curbside, and they recognized me. Like, I was sitting outside on one of our picnic tables. They recognized me, and they came over to say hi. They're like, wait, are you the D from Happy Hour? And it made me so, I was behind my mask, and so were they, but I was smiling really big under my mask, as it was really fun to see, like, oh my gosh, we love Happy Hour. We're always doing this. So please always take a chance to come say hi if you see me around. It warmed my heart to see those guys. So if the guys that came to say hi today are watching, I know they're both from Allen. Don't think I can remember both of their names, but I remember they're both from Allen, Texas. Thanks for coming to say hi, guys. I love hosting happy hour. You guys are the reason. So thanks for being interactive, and welcome to our first timers. Hopefully it will be the first of many. Aileen, she says. Aileen, we're happy to have you. Okay, guys, let's talk about wine nerdery in the islands. So you guys know I have been trying to this week focus on transporting us to summer vacation spots virtually, because it's really hard to travel internationally. And at this point, I've told you guys I've normally have gone on like 3-ish trips by summertime, international trips. And so I'm missing it a little bit. And I thought it'd be fun for us to explore great summer vacation spots that are also really cool wine regions that you may or may not know about. And so today I'm kind of doing a new twist. So we're not just going to go to one place. We're not just going to go to 2 places. We're going to go to 3 different Mediterranean islands and talk about the unique wines that you need to go find and try from these places. Cool? I love it. So first and foremost, and Savannah, I'm going to pop you in at random points during this time because you always have great questions. Guys, Savannah has her WSET level 2 and is working towards her level 3. She's super smart wine nerd. So I'm going to be leaning on her knowledge and good questions as well as yours. So guys, if you have questions as we're going through these, we're going to go through 3 islands. And the first one, let me plop this in. Island 1. Guys, are y'all ready for this trip? We're going on an island trip. I feel like there should be island music playing in the background with like tikis and tiki lanterns, tiki torches, and like drinks with umbrellas. I'll just take some wine. All right, guys. Island number 1, we're going to go to Corsica. I don't know if you know about Corsica or where it's located, but there are 2 grapes that I want to talk about. Before we do that, because I know that some of us didn't have the greatest geography teachers. Can we just be real about that? I had great English teachers. I had great math teachers. But for some reason, social studies sometimes was rough. History teachers and geography teachers was a little rough. So I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your adult geography teacher. But honestly, let's be real about this. We care more now because it means where are these cool places that I can visit, and where are these cool places making cool wine? So now there's incentive to actually learn about those maps that you had to y'all remember colored pencil maps in geography class? And how much time? So I got to bring Savannah. Savannah, tell me you remember colored pencil requirements for school just to color stinking maps in geography.
Yes, I do. That was probably my most favorite part of social studies, was just being able to color everything. And that's how I remembered where places were. I was like, oh, that's the purple one. That's the blue one.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't not enjoy it because I was an art nerd too. So I was all into art class, but I don't know if it really helped me remember. So good for you. I'm glad that study technique. I'm sure that's why our teachers did that. But guys, quick refresher here. We are in the Mediterranean. So cool thing is we are going to do all 3 islands right here in the Mediterranean next to each other. So they're hopefully easy to remember. If you're trying to get there, you want to take your summer vacation. There's places like Paris, Rome, where else? Milan, that are hubs that you can easily get to these islands from. So fly into one of the big cities. And then first up, we're going to talk about Corsica. You see it highlighted there. It's technically part of France. Okay, Corsica is part of France, but if you'll see on the map right there, it's really close to Italy. And the thing to know about Corsicans as a people, they are fiercely Corsican. They don't identify as French. They don't identify as Italian. They are Corsican. So you ask them where are they from, what country, they're going to tell you, I'm Corsican. So they're technically owned by the French. So Corsica is a French island. And that also means their wine culture kind of fluctuates between this French influence and Italian influence. But the 2 grapes you need to know about from Corsica, and actually let me show you a picture. Let me make sure I grab the right one, because they're all 3 island wines. And I'm make sure I get the right island picture that I'm going to show you. Check out this vineyard. Check this vineyard out. This is a picture of a Corsican vineyard. I mean, pretty awesome. It's on the water. It's an island. But guys, we're talking about volcanic islands. And so I love it. Some folks are all like been there, done that. Ken's been there. Rinda's been like, this is awesome. I love that you guys are like, I'm totally into Corsica. So Corsica, French island close to Italy, and the two grapes you need to know about, and I'm totally gonna mess this up. And I tried to practice because I looked up some pronunciations. I think it's Sciaccarellu. Sciaccarellu, I think is how you pronounce that. It's a red grape, and it makes both red wine and rosé wine. And then, wait for it, Vermentinu. Vermentinu, not Vermentino, Vermentinu. Okay. Now, this is just what the Corsicans call Vermentino. So it's the same grape. It's not anything new. Um, but they have tons of indigenous varieties. Remember, these are varieties that are like from that place. They really only grow in that place. In the last 30 years, there's been a big push on the island for these winemakers. These are like old school guys, they're like old island farmers. So they're a little quirky. And they're like, man, let's bring back all these like old school indigenous varieties that all of us have never heard of. Like, I can't even tell you off the top of my head a name of one of them other than Sciaccarellu, or however you pronounce it. Guys, these wines are fantastic. So all three of the islands we're going to talk about today, they have this undeniable, for me, undeniable minerality to them. And I believe, and this is up for debate in the wine world, that volcanic soils add this component, this minerality to the wine that I can't necessarily, and scientists are still trying to figure this out. It's not that necessarily the minerals transfer from the soil through the roots into the grape and then into the wine. There's just something about, and they don't know if it's like something to do with the pH of the soil, like the acid level of the soil or what. But for me, these wines show an undeniable minerality, and they're delicious. And honestly, they're not super expensive. I mean, they're not cheap. But here's the cool thing with these obscure regions that don't have a ton of press. Again, I told you this is the trick. If these wines make it to the US, then they're going to be good. Just because there's not like a built-in Corsican wine demand. Nobody's like thinking every day like, man, I wish I had more Corsican wine. But you should be, because these wines are refreshing. So you think about like the Mediterranean Sea, and it's hot weather, and it's ocean, and it's sunny, and you need refreshing stuff all the time. So like even the bigger red wines are still going to carry this really great line of acidity in them that make them really delicious. So that's a lot of me talking to you about Corsica. While I pull up some names, because you guys, I know you're going to ask me like, where do I get them and who are they? So I have some producer names I'm going to drop in here before we go to Island 2, and I'm going to bring Savannah back. Savannah, thoughts, feelings, questions about Corsica?
Well, you know that I'm going to ask you for every one of these food pairings, because that's the first thing that comes to my mind. So after you drop some things in the comments, we need to talk food. But that is a beautiful vineyard, and I wish that I was there right now.
Right. Okay, so Lane Googled, it's Sciaccarellu. So guys, y'all saw that crazy name that looked like Sciaccarellu. Forget it. It's Sciaccarellu. I did see that same pronunciation guide. It obviously went in one ear and out the other. Sorry guys, I've been like packing my brain with all kinds of wine information to bring these like, I'm restudying a lot of these, to be honest, guys. Like there's so much knowledge about wine out there, and I have to go back and be like, okay, what was that one indigenous variety on the island of Corsica that makes really cool rosés and reds? So all that to say, Clos Canarelli and Abatucci are two producers that I have personally consumed. I can vouch for both of them. I know they're available in Texas. I love their rosés, and I will tell you, even the red that Abatucci makes comes off as and it actually reminds me a lot of Timmons Mourvedre, right? You get this red wine, and Mourvedre can make these big beefy reds, but you can do it in a lighter style, and Abatucci loves doing that. And guys, they're all about the biodynamic farming now. It has been this revolution on the island. Go find some Corsican wines from these two producers. Check it out. Now, food pairing, it's island wine. So you need to think about island cuisine, guys. So we are first and foremost talking seafood. The higher the like fat content of the fish, well, maybe back up just a sec. First, let's talk about oysters. Oysters, you just want acid, Like, let's just go get that Vermentinu. Like, let's have the acid that will cut, and like go with the little bit of lemon squeeze that you're going to put on your oysters. Acidic white wine and oysters, no doubt, or bubbles if you can find them. They do have this obscure version of bubbles I don't have time to go into, but you can look it up. Corsican bubbles. I think Sardinia has some similar as well. Now, with fish, on the white fish side, white lighter fish, you're going to skew towards acidic whites, and you're going to skew towards light reds and rosés. When you start to get into the heavier fishes, then you start thinking about red wines. Now, the great thing is, even the biggest red wines here are still going to have a great line of acidity because they're going to volcanic soils, and the breezes and the winds from the Mediterranean help them not get too hot and too ripe. So I'm going to say seafood all the way through here. Now, obviously, they're also going to be having some great chicken dishes here. But their seafood is the go-to. Cool. All right, Savannah, thank you for always like bringing it back to food. She loves the food pairing question. It's like always the number one. I got to be on my game because sometimes my brain is like, I got to recalibrate. I'm not in the food mind. Full disclosure, guys, I have not just one, but two better half hamburgers sitting on my counter waiting to be consumed right after happy hour. I just like quick plug. If you're in Austin, Better Half's Burger is top 3 burger in the city, and during happy hour, it's only $5. Okay, so what do you do when one of top 3 burgers in Austin is only $5 during happy hour, and it's like less than 10 minutes from your house? You get 2 of them. You get 2. I'm gonna have one for like first dinner and one for second dinner, because I'm in quarantine and staying at home most of the time. I can have 2 dinners, so don't judge me and my 7 flavors of ice cream that I'm gonna have after that. Okay, let's talk about island number 2 because we have more wine to talk about. First of all, let's just y'all been alive in the comments. I just need to like shout that out. Asha, grilled octopus, yes, like bring it back to this. Yes, grilled octopus, guys, great with acidic reds, and honestly, like any of these wines that we're talking about is going to go great there, guys. I can't tell you, like, grilled octopus is money. The Spanish love to do grilled octopus as well. Their wines are great. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk about Spain today because we don't got time. And Lane's all about had octopus in Greece. Yes, they're all over the place there, and like just bring it in. I don't honestly like. I had a problem getting into them. Now, no problem. Like wine has made it for me. Okay, guys. Whew. Sardinia. So let me pull off this screen, and we got to go back to our map because colored pencil time, guys. Everybody get your colored pencil out. Everybody take a swig. This colored pencil drinking game, right? If I mention colored pencils and a map, then you have to take a drink. Happy hour. Here's my map. Okay. Uno momento, por favor. There we go. All right, guys. So you see where Corsica is right there in the middle. So let me zoom in just a little. Okay. This island just below Corsica is Sardinia. Okay. Now, when we island hop, because that's what we're doing today, when we island hop from Corsica to Sardinia, we are going from France into Italy. I know it's mind-blowing. Corsica looks like it's actually closer to the main part of Italy than Sardinia even is, but we are going from France into Italy, going from Corsica into Sardinia. Okay. Now, the thing to know about Sardinia, yes, they're also making Vermentino. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. Vermentino grows on the north side of the island. It benefits from the wind and reflection of sun off of the water. So if you're on the north side of Sardinia, you're going to be talking about Vermentino. It's the same, genetically the same grape as Vermentinu that you had on Corsica. But we need to talk about Cannonau. Guys, I know some folks that it's fun to be like, oh man, I don't really like Grenache. And then you're like, oh cool, well, like you should try some of this Cannonau. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, I love this wine. Cannonau's so great. And then you're like, hey bro, do you know what Cannonau is? And they're like, what? And you're like, it's Grenache. And you just told me you don't like Grenache, but you love Cannonau. And it's just a different name. So like, pro tip here, Cannonau is Grenache grown on the island of Sardinia, and it's genetically identical. It is the same thing. Okay, it's just the Sardinian name for Cannonau, and it's only called that on the island. So, pro tip here: I actually prefer Cannonau over a lot of Spanish Garnachas. I think Grenache has a tendency to get really ripe and high in alcohol. And on Sardinia, because again, volcanic soils and the breezes from the sea, they are able to keep the wines from getting too intense and big. Now, do they have versions that are like that? Yes. But the ones that I love are lighter in body. They're nuanced. They're aromatic, an aromatic Grenache. Guys, this actually reminds me of our Lehe Grenache, our 17 Lehe Grenache. If you haven't had it, it's in that style. It's lighter Grenache. It's got beautiful aromatics. You want to taste it. So Cannonau is where it's at on Sardinia. Okay. So while I pull up the producers, I'm going to bring Savannah back up, see if she has questions. And if she asks me about food, I don't know what I'm going to do. Savannah, thoughts, feelings, questions about Sardinian wine?
Well, thought 2 dinners is always better than 1 dinner. I'm not going to ask you about food on this one. But so question for you, Dee, because of where all these grapes are being grown and because they're by volcanic, I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, are the vines grown in a particular way, or are they on a slope or anything like that due to getting that sunshine and the coastal breeze on them?
Great question. So yes, and actually I'm going to pull back up the Corsican picture. So I know we've already looked at this vineyard. So this is, again, and this is from Corsica. They're not going to look too different, but hopefully you can kind of tell that. Now I will say this looks like VSP. So traditionally, and excuse me if I'm speaking out of turn here, traditionally on Mediterranean islands, because they deal with such high winds, they're going to be bush vines. They're going to be head-trained bush vines that are short, close to the ground, and grow kind of like a bush. That's why it's called head-trained bush vine. So what that does is it keeps the vines from being high up on trellises, from like being blown all over the place, and from like clusters being blown off. And so being close to the ground, it kind of keeps them sheltered. So typically, that's a great question. Typically, you're going to see things that are more like head-trained bush vine type of vine growing. So that's actually a really, really good question. You're going to see that across all of these islands that we're talking about. I didn't show you, so I'm going to now, the picture that I picked up for Sardinia. Just because it's like, this is a summer vacation episode, and like, can we just talk about the crystal clear waters that exist on the island and like generally in the Mediterranean, and how like dreamy it looks? Like that could be us guys on that little boat, drinking a bottle of Cannonau, taking a break from vineyard visits, just living our best life. All right. So, Savannah, thank you for the nerdy vineyard vine question. Guys, Sarah's got some good questions. First of all, let's be real about this. Has it been COVID 10 or 15 for you? I was working towards a 15, but I've instituted a salad rule. So now one of my meals each day has to be a salad, because I am fighting to get back closer to the COVID 10. Full disclosure, I don't care. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to feel good. And if I want 7 ice creams in the freezer, I'm going to have 7 ice creams and 2 hamburgers during happy hour. Okay. Now, this is a great question, Patty. Thank you. When this whole COVID thing is over, have you considered doing wine tours of these islands? I'm in. I think, like, I'm just going to tell Chris and Bill and the team, like, guys, I am now full-time William Chris trip planner and tour guide for international wine trips to help our fans and our members appreciate the greater world of wine. And it's one of those, we get 50 people to sign up and that means my trip is free. Like, I'm not going to complain about that either. Like, I'm in for this. So thank you for the ideas. Chris is asking, can your Texas vines be trained to grow as bushes? Yes, they can. Now you just have to be careful. We deal with a different set of stressors on the vine. So we have to be careful about rot. When you keep things lower to the ground, it's easier for there to be like a spot of humidity. and then for mold and mildew to attack the vines, and it keeps it closer to animals and pests. So, you know, you really have to make choices about vineyard and vine management and the way that you grow them based on the site and the variety that you're making. And you have to consider, are you going to hand harvest or are you going to machine harvest? Because if you're going to machine harvest, they have to be up on VSP, up on the lines like you've seen them at the highest state. They've got to be in a way that the harvester can come through and harvest them. So there's an economic consideration there too. So a lot to talk about. Whew, guys, I'm here for all these questions. We still have one more island to get to, and it's already 5:30. So like, let's do island number 3. Let's hop. Hopefully y'all got those producers there in the comments if you missed them. This might be my favorite one because full disclosure, I have not been to Corsica. I have not been to Sardinia yet, guys. I have goals. I have post-COVID goals. Hopefully you do too. Those 2 islands are on my, and you could do them. They're like, this island hop between the 2. They're so close. Like, why wouldn't I do both? And then like hop over to like mainland Italy. I can do like Chianti Classico. I can do like pasta. I can do pizza, whatever. And then I can go to Sicily, which is island number 3. So let's talk about Sicily. Guys, Sicily is very diverse. Very diverse. There are a lot of different grapes that grow on Sicily. It's a big island. Guys, hopefully you know where Sicily is, but guys, this is happy hour drinking bingo or drinking game, like colored pencil map time. Everybody take a drink. Let's talk about where Sicily's located. Gosh, this Timmons is tasting even better minute by minute. All right, so here's the map again. Corsica, Sardinia. And then I need you to come over here to the toe of the boot. Everybody loves to talk about the Italian boot. The toe of the boot is an island. The toe of the boot is an island, okay? It has this really weird, like, uptick of a toe. There's a weird shaped toe, so, like, no judgment here. Just a weird shaped toe. But the toe of the boot is Sicily. That is a large island. Now, kind of where you see, and I'll see if I can zoom in here, kind of where you see this sea in Catania and the green space above it. That little green space above it is the volcano, the active volcano of Mount Etna. It is a world famous volcano, and that's what I want to talk to you about because, again, it's super diverse. There's a lot of wine we could talk about on this. I want to talk to you about the wines of Mount Etna. Cool? So we are talking about island wine here, but we're talking specifically about 2 varieties that grow on Mount Etna. I'm lucky enough to have been able to visit there. It is breathtaking. Let me show you a picture. Guys, it is literally on the slopes of the active volcano. I cannot tell you how, and there are these terraced vineyards. How beautiful is this? Hopefully you can see this well. Y'all, I am all about Mount Etna wines. Again, we're going back to volcanic soils. A lot of these vineyards have old school lava flows that have now like hardened and built out these like rock outcroppings right through the middle of their property. And so there are times, because it's an active volcano, where they have to like desert the slopes of the volcano, let the lava come through, pray that it doesn't, affect the winery. And then those lava flows harden over time and they become these giant rock outcroppings. But that also means there's this really high mineral content in the soil. These vines, a lot of these vines have been there for ages. The cool thing about a lot of these volcanic soils and island situations, many of them have not been affected by phylloxera. You know, that crazy louse that wiped out a lot of vineyards in Europe around the turn of the 19th into the 20th century, like the late 1890s, early 1900s. A lot of these are pre-phylloxera vines, and so they're super, super old. But the 2 grapes you want to know about are Nerello Mascalese. Nerello Mascalese, they make beautiful red wines, and Caricante makes beautiful white wines. Okay, Nerello Mascalese is starting to be kind of compared to Burgundy, and a little bit to Barolo. So like people are trying to actually say like these fine wines, these fine red wines on the slopes of Mount Etna have such high stature and quality that we need to start talking about them as some of the best red wines in the world. They're lighter in color, but very complex in their flavor. They are very acid driven still. They carry a fair amount of tannin, and they are elegant. I am in love with Nerello Mascalese. Now, Caricante is going to carry a lot of what these island whites carry, which is acid, sharpness, zippiness, like cut through things, refreshing. But they can also be oak aged, and if they're oak aged, then they take on more texture and body. Okay, cool. While I pull up some producers, I'm gonna bring Savannah back up. Savannah, talk to me. Thoughts, feelings about Mount Etna wines?
I'm just looking at this picture and I'm just trying to process if I was managing this vineyard, how I would feel about there being Mount Etna right behind me. Do you know what one of the oldest vines is in this area? Do you know by chance?
I want to say we're working on like 125, 130-year-old vines at this point. Like, they've probably got like single individual vines that maybe are like 150, 200-year-old. I got to see some like 100-year-old vines when I was there. Nothing that was like over maybe like 110 years old, but I mean like a lot of really old vines. Now, I will say this. There was a time where the Italian economy tanked, and a lot of the farmers on this island abandoned their vineyards. So like there just wasn't enough money in the business for them to like support their families and live a normal life. So there are a lot of abandoned vineyards. Now, in the last like 20 years, Mount Etna, especially the northern slopes of Mount Etna, have become a hot spot for fine wine producers, and people have been buying up these old abandoned vineyards and bringing them back to life. And so I think we're about to see kind of, which we've already kind of started to see, an uptick in price for a lot of these wines. So like get these wines now, because the price is going to continue to go up. They are already recognizing how beautiful these wines are. So good question though. Super old wines. Guys, this has been a blast. It's time for the weekend. I'm gonna stop talking at you. Hopefully you've enjoyed our week of virtual vacations. Savannah, thank you for your amazing questions. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Savannah. I'm gonna grab these three things while you think about who we're gonna cheers to today. Y'all know that we have a virtual tasting tomorrow. You still have a chance to go pick up the virtual tasting packs, guys. So thing one is Stay Home Drink Wine is happening. We're doing a virtual tasting tomorrow. This week, the way you get your virtual tasting pack is by, there's my like head above the box, is by ordering it online, going to pick it up at the vineyard. If you don't already have it, you're going to need to do curbside pickup. Shout out to all my curbside pickup people. I know y'all are hot. Y'all are sweaty. Y'all are like, amazing job. That's all I want to say. So shout out to our curbside pickup folks. Go pick up this pack. It's got this week's virtual tasting and next week's virtual tasting, plus 2 wines to tide you over in the meantime. So like, just go get it. So like, you know, you're going to do both virtual tastings. We don't need to talk about this. Go do it. Second, I don't want to breeze over this. So like, if you haven't been paying attention, pay attention for a second. This is super important for us. We really, really, really want to recognize our healthcare workers and our first responders out there. So guys, if you are, or you know a healthcare worker or first responder, we want to know about them. Please nominate them. We're going to be doing a giveaway for a Hill Country getaway at the Highway House, some food and wine pairing experiences for when we're opened back up. We want to recognize these folks. They have been incredible, are doing amazing work. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If this is you or your family members, please go to that link and nominate them. We want to know about them. Last and certainly not least, this ain't going nowhere, guys. Next Monday is Mourvedre Monday. You know that I've started to theme our days. So we got Mourvedre Monday, we got White Wine Wednesday. So Monday, I'm going to be drinking 17 Farmhouse Mourvedre. I want you guys to have a great weekend. I want you to be safe. I want you to drink wine. I want you to stay home, wear a mask, all that fun stuff. Let's stay safe out there, people. Savannah, who are we cheersing to?
All right, so it just seems suiting. We are going to cheers to all of the healthcare workers and the first responders out there.
I love that. That's perfect, guys. Cheers to healthcare workers. Cheers to first responders. Cheers to all of you. Happy weekend. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.